Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about how the zodiac sign Virgo can be manipulated, and yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Well, first off, for one thing, I want to just get at is that this is not these videos on how the zodiac signs can be manipulated. It's not per se to explain or give people some idea or conception how to manipulate these zodiac signs, but what it is, it's the zodiac signs that these videos are about and pertaining to. These people can have an inkling and understand perhaps signs when somebody may be trying to manipulate them. So anyway, well, the first thing, as far as Virgo goes, as far as being manipulated, well, Virgos can often be borderline germophobic, if that's even a term anymore. Of course, many of you know, they love to be very meticulous, neat, very clean, very immaculate, and it's just all about, sanitation. Very many Virgos are, I believe. Now, if Virgo is told that he or she may be going to some house or some business that might be dismantled or disorganized, might even have some malodorous emanations, so to speak, in there, they maybe opt out. If somebody, like say, was trying to get Virgo not to go to a place and discourage him from going, somebody may tell them about this, and just understanding that Virgo emphasizes these things a lot more than the other zodiac signs on average. Now, this is Virgo also. I mean, they are, as a child, a parent may threaten Virgo to take away things that are health related. That is such as workout equipment. Virgo often likes to work out vigorously, especially if it's like a teenager and somebody is just, at that age where they're just starting to work out. It could be other health-related items such as vitamins, and it could be health drinks, taking away things connected with organization. I mean, it could be some pocket organizer or something where they maybe it's something like a day planner. Virgo is often a stickler for those kind of things. Anything which can help them compile data, which could list things, anything associated with that. A parent may try to take from that child, or I should say threaten to take away from that child in order to get Virgo to do what he or she wants. It could even be things connected with cleaning, such as sanitation wipes, cleaning supplies. It could be like that antibacterial hand soap, those disposable, I don't know if I'm pronouncing right, nitrile, cleaning gloves. Virgos are often very strongly about being clean and about organization. And the thing about this too, another thing about Virgo too, in terms of manipulation can go, it could even be games that Virgo may have that are associated with analysis and mental ability, like chess, or a book that's got brain teasers. It could be another game could be Tetris or Mastermind, something that really would get under Virgo's skin and would really make Virgo to actually comply with what the parent wants in order for those items not to be relinquished or discarded or taken away or what have you. Now, Virgo also, I think, could be manipulated into becoming really acrimonious and angry as far as like if somebody were to go into their home and clutter it, spill things, make things disheveled, disorganize things. Most people aren't going to do that to get anybody upset. But Virgo would become probably more exasperated at that than the other zodiac signs on average, because they are such a stickler for having things neat, meticulous, organized, tidy. Also, too, something else that could get under Virgo's skin is really just uncouth, grotesque behavior, opprobrious language behavior. This could really irritate them And if somebody is trying to get Virgo to go away or remove themselves from a certain spot, this is something somebody may do because they could be cognizant and understand that Virgo often has a very strong anathema to it. Don't get me wrong. Anybody, any zodiac sign, could be rebuffed by that kind of behavior, but Virgo more so, I believe, than the other zodiac signs on average. Now, another thing could be is that a way that somebody, for example, I mean, Virgo is often very averse to like germs from colds or what have you. And say that Virgo, for example, is sitting in a library. I mean, Virgos are often very studious and they could be studying things online on the internet if they don't have a computer at home. Virgo is often very frugal, so you might find a lot of Virgos actually in the library as opposed to having their own computer in many instances. Now, somebody, for example, could start coughing or doing something, sneezing, something which would get Virgo to get up and perhaps move. Now, in many cases, most people that cough or sneeze are legitimately sick. But if people understand or are cognizant what Virgo is about, this could be done and used against them because Virgo is so cautious often about receiving some kind of cold or some kind of sickness from somebody, and they will actually take more precautions than the average person. Virgo is often that one that will take paper towels and grab the bathroom door handles with them when they're at some public restroom or something. They are just the ones, and they're constantly, maybe using hand sanitizer. Virgos are really very strong in terms of being averse to as far as germs go. Now, another thing too is Virgo also sadly can be a sucker for service related things, I believe. Service is of course synonymous with the zodiac sign Virgo. Now, the thing about it is someone could play a con game with Virgo easily as far as this goes. Now, they could ask somebody, say hypothetically, they can ask Virgo, "Oh, can you run me to the store? Can you run this errand for me?" And then after the completion of that errand, the person may say, "Hey, could you take me somewhere else, please?" And Virgo usually has a very good demeanor and disposition. Virgo people are often very nice. They're very often very pleasant, amiable. They want to be helpful, but sometimes people will capitalize on this about Virgo, and they'll use it strongly to their advantage. Now, the thing about it, too, is a thing that if somebody's trying to irritate Virgo, sometimes it's about they might give Virgo a taste of his or her own medicine, so to speak. Now, Virgo can be a very incessant, even borderline compulsive complainer. This is the sign known to be very judgmental and critical. But what happens is sometimes when Virgo receives a taste of their own medicine, this is where they could become very irate. They could be very good at discerning things. They could be very good at criticizing others, whether it's constructive criticism, whether it comes out in a very derogatory or derisive manner or what have you, but not always so much on the receiving end. When someone gives them a taste of their own medicine, figuratively speaking, this is when you could see something that they don't like, that they're able to dish out often to others, but they have difficulty receiving it. Now, another thing is that another way that Virgo, I think, can get where they could be readily manipulated, is that as far as health matters go. See, Virgos often, I think they could very well be the healthiest zodiac sign, but they often, I think, have a tendency to distort or enlarge certain sicknesses. Somebody can capitalize on this and really use this against Virgo. As an example, let's say Virgo is, complaining, they got, some kind of pulse in the top of their head, and someone may say, "Oh, Virgo, hey," or whatever the person's name is that's a Virgo is what I'm saying, "Hey, that could be some kind of tumor or something. In most cases, it wouldn't be. But see, Virgo has that strong propensity to worry as well, and people can feed off of that, capitalize on that. And Virgo might really start to think that's the case, when in most cases, sometimes that's just some kind of pulse. I think I read somewhere that that pulse in the head sometimes could be from, it could be from some kind of food that someone may be eating. And it could be something from something high in sodium. That's something you'd have to look up though. But I think a lot of times that is connected with something that is eaten but anyway, the point being, and also, let's say another example that Virgo's got some red spot on them somewhere. Someone could say, oh, it looks like you got poison ivy. And Virgo might actually fall for that because Virgo doesn't want, out of all the zodiac signs, any kind of sickness or illness or something that they might, any affliction, potential affliction, that could put them in a very strong state of fright and trepidation, more so than the other zodiac signs on average. Hold on a minute, people. Sorry about that. I'm back again. Anyway, now another thing that can really, irritate, something that could irritate Virgo to the point where, well, something that could get, say, Virgo to leave in a significant other situation. Well, as an example, like say you take Virgo, they have a significant other, right? Where they may be married, or maybe it's a live-in situation with a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. And what happens is, see, Virgo is known to be very scrupulous, more so than the other zodiac signs on average. So they could really abhor and lament something where they have a significant other that might be, whether it's flirtatious or just downright promiscuous. Now, a lot of people aren't going to tolerate promiscuity in a relationship, don't get me wrong. But Virgo, I would say more so than the other zodiac signs on average, would be apt to leave at the first sign of infidelity by their partner, by their significant other, because Virgo often is that sign they could epitomize scrupulousness, and they are. And if there's if let's say that Virgo finds out that their significant other was cheating on them, they may be apt to leave quickly. Now you're wondering, well, what does this have to do with being manipulated? Well, let's say Virgo has a significant other that's, I don't know, say passive, or somebody that's kind of weak-willed and doesn't really have the ability to be outright with things. Something could happen where maybe the person allows Virgo maybe to find out about their infidelity. They don't come out maybe directly and say it to Virgo, to him or her, but, say leaves a phone number of maybe the person they're seeing around, or some kind of clue that gives Virgo an inkling as to what's going on and gets Virgo to leave the connection. See, the person might not have it in him or her to say, I don't want to be connected with you anymore. But what could happen is the person might just allow his or herself maybe to be caught and allow Virgo to become cognizant of it, and then Virgo takes off and leaves and extricates his or herself from the connection, because the other person may not have had it in him or her to confront Virgo head on regarding it, and it gives the person a way out without having to say, I don't want to be in your life anymore. So that's what I'm saying. Now, also too, I think what Virgo can abhor is extravagance. Now, it can be something where, in a way to manipulate Virgo into an angry outburst, is if a significant other starts splurging on the most expensive items. Virgo is notorious for being frugal. I think they are likely the most frugal sign of the zodiac. This is something that can really irritate Virgo and make Virgo irate. Now, another way I think Virgo can be manipulated is because a lot of it's attributed to, I think Virgo, even though they're very often very reticent, very humble, very self-effacing, They have a little hidden arrogance in them, I believe. Remember that Leo often falls on the 12th house cusp in a solar natal chart for Virgo. Now, I understand Leo, the 12th house is about restrictions and limitations, but it could also be things that we keep kind of hidden. So it's a little arrogance, could be a little bit hidden with Virgo in certain situations. I think people can often feed off Virgo's feeling of intellectual superiority. And they often are to other people, intellectually superior, more cerebral than most. But as an example, someone can say to Virgo, "Oh, hey, Virgo, I don't think I don't have the brain power to do such and such. Whether it could be something like maybe wiring a car, assembling a car alarm and wiring it or what have you. It could be just putting a piece of weightlifting equipment together, whatever it might be. It could be diagnosing a vehicle. That person could say to Virgo, I don't think I have the brain power, intellect to do this. I need somebody with your brain power, with your strong cerebral ability to be able to do this. And Virgo may often fall for it. They get flattered. They're basically being praised and lauded for their intellectual ability, and then they can go for it. Or Virgo is often very verbose. Sometimes they could be downright pedantic. Sometimes they could be overwordy. Someone may say, can you make this call for me, please, Virgo? You can articulate things much better than me. You have an extensive vocabulary, Virgo. You can word this thing better. I don't know how to communicate this as well as you. And Virgo might feed off of that. And when Virgo gets that compliment about it, and about their intellect, and hey, they may go for it, and they don't realize, the person might continue to do this to him or her and take advantage of Virgo's eloquence and their ability to articulate things well. Now, it's also important to look at the house that Scorpio falls on in a solar or natal chart, a house cusp, I should say, as this could show the area or sector in life where a person can be most susceptible to being manipulated, because Scorpio, of course, is a sign associated with manipulation. Now, in this case, Scorpio often falls on the 3rd house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Virgo. So you figure, how does this manifest in terms of Virgo potentially being manipulated and having that strong susceptibility to manipulation in this sector? Well, the thing is, for one thing, I think Virgo can often, 3rd houses are neighbors. It rules neighbors. Virgo may often be manipulated by neighbors because Virgo has the proclivity to be very service-oriented, helpful, and wanting to do things that are beneficial to others. Neighbors are in the vicinity. They could easily connect with Virgo and ask him or her to do this. Virgo, again, as I stated before, often has a very good demeanor, a very nice disposition, and it's hard for them to maybe say no to people that want service. And neighbors are often the ones that are most convenient as far as that goes. Neighbors may capitalize on this and use Virgo relentlessly, unfortunately. And also, and it could be diagnosing a vehicle, doing some repair work on the home. Virgo is often very handy with various things because they are ruled by Mercury. They have the ability to analyze and scrutinize, and they're very good with just doing many different things because they often have very good intellectual ability and prowess in being able to problem solve and figure things out. They're also susceptible, being Scorpio often falling on the 3rd house cusp in a solar natal chart for Virgo. They often can be very susceptible to being manipulated in their general communications. Virgo can often, they're very often very observant and spot things that others can't. But the thing about it is, remember, when I compare, like when I say comparing Virgo and Gemini I see as more of the streetwise intellect. Virgo is more pragmatic and practical. They don't necessarily see when people are necessarily deceiving them, I don't think, or trying to use them for something. Virgo is more susceptible to being manipulated in their communications than more so than people would think, I think, for that reason. They are ones, another thing I want to get at is that Pisces, it's also important to look at the house that Pisces falls on in a solar or natal chart, as this could show an area where one has the tendency to succumb to deception and duplicity, and this could be tied into manipulation. Hold on again, people. Sorry about that, I'm back again. Now, anyway, the thing about it is, Pisces will fall on the 7th house cusp in a solar or natal chart for Virgo. Now, the thing about Virgo is I think they often have the difficulty to say no to others. The 7th house could be about our significant other, but it could be about our important relationships in general. Virgo may have difficulty, I think, sometimes in deciphering the character composition in others. They are, I mean, they often, and as I stated before, they can often see things in others that others can't, or like it could be like a spot on somebody, or something, or a shirt is not buttoned up right, or somebody's got like a spot on their curtain, and they might see it from like 15 feet away, and other people won't notice it. But the thing about it is, Virgo, I think what it is too is that Virgo, with Pisces being on the 7th house cusp in a solar natal chart for Virgo, Virgos are often very self-sacrificing in their relationships, I believe. And I think other people can see that. They could see that Virgo could be very compassionate with others in general. And people will often exploit that and take advantage of it. People may use Virgo endlessly as a means, somebody that can help them out with something that they could collaborate with on a project. Some of these people may actually be able to do these things themselves, but they just constantly might keep bothering Virgo for assistance because maybe they're too lazy to do it themselves, or what have you. And keep in mind, with Pisces being on the cusp of the 7th house cusp in a solar natal chart for Virgo, this is where a lot of Virgo's connections might be somewhat lethargic or lackadaisical and indolent. And I think Virgo just has the difficulty in seeing and saying no to these people often, and these people might just continually just be saying, okay, Virgo, I need you to do such and such. I can't do it myself. And Virgo just doesn't have the ability to say no a lot in those cases, I believe. So Virgo just will continually, persistently help these people. So anyway, and I think a lot of it is connected with the fact Virgo is often, they can be self-critical, I think, very often. They want to be so, they're so scrupulous about, how they are and how they're acting. A lot of times they're dominated by that, I think, and maybe they're putting all that energy into themselves and their self-analysis that they don't always be taking that time to analyze those other people as well. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment on how I believe Virgo can be manipulated. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about how I believe the zodiac sign Libra can be manipulated. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person astrologically speaking based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.